Welcome to another episode of Until It's Done, a devoted podcast. I'm your host, Dana Lynn Kay, and I'm back in the studio with Maria Redman. Welcome back.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Last week, this is a two-part series. I just decided.
I love it.
Because it's going to piggyback off of what we did last week, which we talked about supplements, and we talked about what are ones that are just bogus and what are ones that you should be taking.
Right.
And Maria gave a lot of great information. I loved it. We packed so much.
We did.
It was
we could
good.
have actually kept going.
We could have for like all afternoon. I loved it. I love talking to Maria. We're gonna do a lot of these because we both just light up on fire talking about all these topics. But this week I want to talk about GLP-1s.
Yes.
I've dabbled on that topic in my podcast before with some guests, but never really dug deep.
Right.
And I feel like you're a good person to dig. You brought your shovel. I'm
a shovel.
And I'm like, because we'll surface talk about them and we'll kind of whatever. But I would like, because you're so passionate and you're very honest. And you've seen a lot. You've worked with a lot of people. And so I feel like you will say it how it is about these GLP-1s because, I have a big customer base that definitely uses. I mean, now with the price of protein is going up because of GLP-1s.
Right?
So it's affecting me, everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, let's talk because we're gonna look. There's pros and there's cons, and that's the whole point of this. We're not here to bash them. We're not here 100%. To then overly promote because it's not the perfect fit for everyone.
Right.
So Maria, you get started on. I don't know. Do we want to? I mean, look, we could go like pro con. We'll go back and forth.
Let's start with this.
What is it?
So I think it's important to say for everyone that's taking a GLP-1 right now and you're in a space mentally where you're like, I'm taking it, but I don't know if I should, or,
for how long,
and you're feeling some type of angst inside, give yourself grace.
Okay.
Right? Because you are trying to make what you think is the best decision for you to help get you to some type of a destination.
Yes.
Right? So I think that there needs to be grace there. And I think that we also need to acknowledge that we're trying to use new technological and medical advances to assist. Mm-hmm. Right? But then there's where the rub lies.
Right.
Right? So the more of our population, I think we can get to understand that we are the product.
Okay.
I think the faster people would stop jumping so quickly to do things, right? So you have to always remember that human beings, especially in America, we are the product, right? No one really cares if you lose the weight. No one gives a crap. What they care about is, are you going to buy my product?
Yeah.
And when it comes to GLP-1s, they're designed in a way that they're not, there's no permanence to them.
Right.
Right? There's no permanence to them. The cons, let's go into the cons. The one, they're not permanent. The biggest con is that it's affecting your pancreas, right? So what it does is it mimics what your pancreas should do in regulating insulin, right? You keep putting these things into your body constantly. They're exogenous from outside of the body. You're limiting your own body's ability to regulate it on its own. So when you stop taking it, your pancreas is in there like, you didn't need me last year at all, so I'm just out. I'm on vacation. I won't be back until a couple of years. Call me when you need me again. Maybe I'll show up, maybe not. So there's no education coming from the doctors to the patient saying, hey, these are all the things that it's doing internally in order to get you to said set point. Okay. No one's telling them that. They're just saying, yeah, we're going to give you this dosage. You should lose about 5 pounds a week, which is, if anyone knows anything about weight loss, an unhealthy amount of weight loss a week.
5 pounds a week.
Right. That's why people are hooked to them. There's nothing else. You're going to lose 5 pounds a week. So they're like, heck yes, sign me up.
But that's like scary thinking.
Thinking, very harmful to your entire system, your circulatory system. Your heart is in there like, what the hell is going on?
When you're talking about 5 pounds, like that's not just straight body fat.
And that's the next con. So this does not attack body fat at all. It's very, very muscle wasting, extremely muscle wasting.
Why is that?
by the default of the way that it works with your insulin. It's just constantly just pulling from the body. The body needs its own, for lack of better terms, an energy system. And where is it going to find it when you're pulling? From your muscles. Our muscles play a big role in the body in terms of energy. It can pull our body if you starve it too much.
Yeah.
When people go on like long-term fasts and they're like, oh, I lost 10 pounds. And I'm like, not of fat, unfortunately. You probably lost a half a pound of fat and you probably lost the rest in muscle mass. It will eat itself first. It understands preservation quite well. So if you put the body in this deficit response, it will eat the muscle first for energy. Because with the taking of GLP-1s, what happens is it also takes away your appetite.
Right.
So by default, now you're also eating less calories. And most people, because they don't have good nutritional habits, they're not eating protein. Yeah. They're eating crap because now they realize they can get away with eating garbage still and still lose weight.
Yeah.
Now we've created a whole host of other issues. I'm seeing people with GLP-1s come in with high blood pressure, super duper high cholesterol now.
Wow.
You know, weird things like stomach cramps because it also gives you something called gastroparesis, which is paralyzation of your gastro. Your stomach paralyzes in some people. There's some horror stories with this.
I've heard of a lot of people getting also very nauseous and sick.
Yes, very nauseous and sick.
Is that from
constant diarrhea?
From like the wrong dosages, or it's just...
Well, some people are abusing the dosages, yes. But also... if you are a healthy person, forget that you were overweight, right? We understand you were overweight. But if all things being said, your organs are healthy and now you're doing something that's making them stop working so that you can take this thing, your body doesn't like it. It's fighting for survival, and it will start to do things to you to create survival. For instance, when we become sick, get a cold, we take medicine that we probably shouldn't take. The first thing I learned in nursing school was cough, sneeze, vomit, fever, diarrhea. That is the 5 ways that your body rids bacteria and viruses out of it.
Okay.
And we constantly take medicine to stop these things because they're inconvenient.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Now, barring that your fever doesn't get too high, there's a problem if it exceeds a certain temperature or your diarrhea isn't too constant and vomiting same way. But in the beginning, it's your body's natural way of trying to rid it. So now when we talk about GLP-1s, you're taking and messing with your insulin on a constant basis. Then you're messing with your ghrelin so that you're not hungry. You're turning off all of these body chemistries that we're supposed to have on a natural basis.
Wow.
All so you can get to a goal weight. And then you get to the goal weight. What's the first thing everyone does when they get to a goal weight? Eat.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I can eat
celebrating.
now. Yeah, they're celebrating, right? I'm in a size 6 for about a week or 2 at best. And so these are the cons of GLP-1s. There's no education from the doctor to the patient, no nutritional setup.
Not only doctor, but you can get these
now. You can get them, right now. You can just get them online.
You get them online. You can get them at a anti-aging clinic.
Right.
You can get them
anywhere. Right. So that's now with mainstream. So now forget the set of people that did go to the doctor and do it that way.
Okay.
Now we have a group of people that are just getting them with no blood work being done. Period. Point blank. So we're starting to see instances with people who were super hypoglycemic having issues now because they're taking it, trying to figure out why they're passing out all the time. Well, you're hypoglycemic and you're tanking insulin constantly taking these things, and this is why you're passing out, or constant headaches, or the feeling of nausea, dizziness, foggy head is starting to happen. Loss of memory is starting to happen. Also, people's hair is starting to fall out,
right? Because
they're actually starving themselves.
Right. Their nutrients are
very deficient.
Yeah.
Extremely. So there's just...
And it's wild, how quickly, people will lose weight and they think it's amazing. Yet I've heard it described where they'll say people end up looking like a melted candle. Because it's like they're losing weight faster than their skin can even keep up with. So then they're like melting.
100%.
And they're... they used to say about, you get Ozempic face or whatever. It's just because it's like you're just losing and things are just hanging.
Right.
And it's like actually like when you lose too much weight, you actually look older.
You do.
It ages
so
you.
So no one looks good physically in the face or physically in the body either. Honestly, I've not seen one fit person on any of these products.
Yeah.
And
well, because it's working against what they're trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have my muscle wasted. I put too much
work into it. Yeah. I'm like, you know how hard it is to get a half a pound of muscle?
Well, and I've seen like a lot of people where, and look, not only seen, but like I've met people in person where I'll be doing devotion tastings. And I remember I was at an event and I was doing protein waffles, and I offered one of the women at the event, a protein waffle. It was like just a little 10-gram protein waffle. And she's like, no, I just took my shot this morning, so I don't really eat much for the first 3 days. I don't really eat for the first 3 days. Thanks. So I said to her, aren't you, I said, but this is a protein waffle. Aren't you concerned about your muscle? And she's like, I'm not concerned about that. Like, I'm just concerned, and she's like just sipping on her coffee, and she's not concerned about that. Meanwhile, and, whatever, I'm not like talking crap, but like she had no butt. Everything just hung. And I'm like, oh my God, like you're melting away.
She's wasting away.
Wasting
away.
And she's so excited and proud. Well, P.S., she was at an event. Now I fast forward. I guess this event was like a year or two ago.
Right.
And I saw her on social media and she's massive again. And I'm like, oh. And I was like, there you go. But like here, she's so pumped up thinking she's doing the right thing. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, eat the waffle. Like eat. Like just because you're on this. But, they take so much that they just shut down their appetite.
Right.
And they're so excited as though now they have control over not eating.
Right.
And it's like, it's working against you. And then your calories are now so low.
Yes.
That then when you do finally eat again,
your body doubles in size because we do not lose fat cells when you lose weight. They just shrink. Mm-hmm. The only way to lose fat cells is to lipo them out. And the way that fat cells work is they couple in size. So once you plump them back up, as soon as they hit that threshold, they split off.
Oh my God.
And that is why people gain back weight plus
more.
That's what's happening there. So they another fat cell bounces off and creates a new one. And this is how this process repeats and repeats and repeats. My biggest problem that I have with all of these medications, well, first of all, if you're not diabetic, you don't need it.
Okay.
That's number one, right? That's just a personal thing, but we're taking medications away that diabetics actually really, really need.
Right.
But the biggest thing that I don't hear anyone discussing is what it's doing to your cognition, your brain. Because here it is, you're buffering, for lack of a better word, you're buffering your insulin constantly, right?
Okay.
A couple times a week when you take it or however long your shot lasts. So you're not getting any glucose to the brain. Your brain needs glucose to function, like big time. That's why low carb diets are great until they're not as you're aging.
Yeah.
Right? Then you're low in calories and low in nutrients.
Yeah.
And most people who take GLP-1s do not hydrate.
Damn. This is a horror movie I'm listening to right now.
Exactly.
This is against everything that I do. And look, like I said, I'm not like against, I'm just saying like, if you're not educated and you're not doing these things, I mean, these are things that I take, action to make sure I get every day. Like I'm always trying to make sure, like I'm a strong believer in eating the carbs. I eat oatmeal and rice. And before I came here, like I had a half of a bagel with turkey and, it's like these are things that, are worked into my diet intentionally because I know that they're good for me. Right. My Hydroflex, my water bottle, like that is something that I'm so passionate about because I'm like, guys, drink your water. I know the feeling of not drinking water. Plain water used to be very hard for me.
Yeah.
So with Hydroflex,
me too. I have to flavor. I'm a Hydroflex queen.
Right.
I have to.
Like Greg will be like, "You didn't drink any water." I'm like, I can't. Like with plain water.
Is there a flex with me?
Right. Is there a Hydroflex? Like I need it. It's like, but yet you put some flavor in there all day long.
All day long.
But I also feel the difference in how I function, my body, my brain, my everything. It's like my skin, like when you're hydrated and you're hydrated, you're peeing well, you're doing all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, your body. But there's some days where say, I forgot my thing and I didn't, buy water. And I will be like, dude, I noticed, like I haven't had water.
It's a big difference. You'll feel tired, very lethargic.
Very.
Yeah. Your whole day feels like, meh. Yeah.
And I notice a difference when my nutrients aren't right
100%.
and my calories are low and I'm like petering out and the scary thing is with GLP-1, you probably don't feel that. You don't
feel it. It cuts all of that off. So you have no idea
that you're lacking those. Your body a lot of times tells you,
right? Your body,
it
signals, and all the signals are now dampened and cut off. So you have no idea what's going on there.
Right.
And so I'm really interested to see. I've been trying to find some peer-reviewed studies on if anyone is tracking the implications of those that took regular healthy people taking GLP-1s and the effect on their brain long term. Are we creating another instance for Alzheimer's or early onset dementia to happen?
Yeah.
Because you're taking so much away from the brain for a long period of time. Our brains don't if you stop reading books or just reading in general for a long period of time, you'll have some mental decline there.
Yeah.
Your reading skills drop by a lot. There's a lot of people who don't read as well as they used to read. They go back and read things and are like, I felt like I used to read a lot easier when I was younger. It's because you don't read anymore.
Right.
We're in a society.
Use it or lose it.
Right. 100%.
With walking, with anything. I mean, when you don't
right.
do something for a while, you go back to do it and you're like, I used to. And it's like,
right.
Well, because you used to do it.
Exactly. And so now we have a whole host of people taking these and the brain is devoid of so many things it needs to just function for a long period of time.
These are some really interesting things to think about.
Right.
Because, it sounds so often people are so excited like it's the magic.
Right. And so let's go to the other side because now everyone's like, well, damn.
Yeah. Okay. No. So now we're going to talk about some positive. We'll put some pros. So
here's the thing. If you're going to use it I always look at weight loss with my clients and patients as a tool. Right? Okay. I like to start the toolbox with as many tools inside of it as possible.
Yep.
I know that nutrition and cardio are going to be my first two places that I touch.
Sure.
I prefer to feed someone a whole bunch of food as much as I can, create a minimal deficit, and have them do cardio to create the rest and training. Right?
Yeah, that's what I like.
So I like to do that and run that until the wheels fall off. Literally,
right,
till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Before I go picking up a tool like a GLP-1.
Right.
So if I had someone present to me and they were really obese, I would probably implement the GLP-1 with a very, very high nutrient dense nutrition plan.
Yes.
An extremely structured, training plan with emphasis on weightlifting, 100%. And I would actually tell them that they need to go and take higher dosages of multivitamins if they don't eat all their food.
Yeah.
Because their body's going to need it.
It's scary with not eating all your food day after day after day after day. Again, so now, some of these people, and we're talking, because I've spoken to some bariatric patients a lot, and I've spoken to GLP-1 patients, and some of them are both. And, I'll say, well, they'll ask me for help on social media. And then I'll say, look, I'm not coaching people. That's not what I do, but maybe I can point you in the right direction. How much are you eating right now?
Right.
And I've had where they'll say, oh, right now I try to stay around 900 calories. And I'm like, for breakfast and lunch, or where are you?
What are we doing?
Is that like a snack? What do you mean?
Right. I had a salad and it was 900
I was
calories.
right, because
this afternoon.
So I'm like, what the hell? And then I'm like, okay. And then she'll say, I'm at a stall and I can't lose. And I'm thinking, well, first of all, so that's how much you've been eating 900 for that long. So now you want to drop? You want to cut to 700? Where are we going? Where are you going? And that's scary.
Well, then this is the next thing. So I'm super concerned about what's going to happen to their cognitive abilities, but I'm also extremely worried about what's happening to their thyroid.
Oh.
It cannot be functioning at all at this point. It's got to be bottomed out. Their TSH has to be bottomed out. There's just no doubt about it.
Interesting. Yeah, the thyroid.
They stall quickly taking it. And some of them actually, and the doctors with their greed, this is where I get irritated, increase the dosage. No one's done any blood work to check the underneath the hood to see what's going on with anything.
Yeah.
Not your A1C levels, not your fasting glucose, not your thyroid, none of it. There's no check. There's just, oh, here you go, take it. Especially with the ones that you can just get from HRT clinics. They're just handing it out like candy, and no one is checking to see what's going on underneath the hood.
They're increasing your dose and then saying you want to drop more, just increase your dose.
Right.
And then you'll just eat less than that.
Yes.
And it's just, it's setting up like a freaking, what is it called? Like a garbage fire or like
a dumpster fire. A dumpster fire for you to die. Oh. That's really what it's setting
or
up.
for you to then
well,
gain all this weight back, and then which then going back into obesity is going to bring more problems. So it's a vicious cycle.
It brings more problems because
we're back to the cons again.
Right. Sorry, guys, we're back to the cons because it's so rapid to get right back into obesity.
Yeah.
Now, if you were a person that didn't have any high blood pressure, any high cholesterol, any of those, other implications, you definitely might have them now when you reverse off of this. Well, no, you're not even reversing, but your body just says, forget it. You did craziness to us. And now you're looking at a person who's going to try to do it the good old-fashioned way because they're frustrated with all of the things that they've tried.
Yeah.
And their body won't budge at all.
Right.
Because their thyroid is now tanked, which is directly correlated to your metabolism. So now we're talking about having to go to endocrinology, getting on some thyroid medications to kind of balance that back out before we can even start the process of trying to lose weight all over again.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you've got, oh man. If you guys are, if you're listening and you're on a GLP-1 and you're not being guided correctly, you've got to take a look at like all the things that Maria's talking about right now, not having the right, look at what you're eating every day.
Right.
Really know your calories and then say, like, am I really bringing in the macro and the micronutrients and all the things my body needs? Or am 100%. I just starving myself to lose weight, but then like cut your nose to spite your face?
Exactly. What kind of weight are we losing? We don't want to lose muscle. We need muscle. We need muscle for longevity of life.
Yeah.
Right? Just that alone. So if you are going to take the GLP-1s, you definitely need to prioritize your calories, protein being king, like 100% being king. Then I would definitely say you want to make sure you have enough fruits and vegetables in there so that you're getting your micronutrients.
Yep.
Like I would not skimp on that. Hydration, if you're not hydrating, get your Hydroflex, get your cup, get some water, let's go.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to hear anything about this. I had 64 ounces. Everyone really should be at baseline a gallon of water. That's almost not enough, even though you might be sedentary, right? So you want to get your hydration in, then we need to get on an exercise program. And I'm not talking about walking around the block.
Right.
That's cardiovascular. You need to be lifting some weights because you are burning muscle up the wazoo on a GLP-1. Yeah. I don't care how you shake a stick at it. There's people who train. There are some people in the bodybuilding space that use them to try to get lean.
Yeah.
And they have found very quickly all they ended up doing was making themselves look small.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Even with taking steroidal compounds. And eating all of the things.
And will the training help to keep the muscle on?
The training helps for muscle preservation as best as it can. But if you're not, again, you've got bodybuilders eating well, taking steroids and a GLP-1 just to get body fat off and losing muscle. What does that tell you? A bodybuilder is going to prioritize their protein all day long.
Yeah.
They will never skimp on it.
No.
Then you throw a steroid on top of it and they're still losing muscle on it. Then that means that the everyday person's going to lose a whole crap ton.
Yeah.
And they're not even training to that level. So where I see it being most efficient in a person that is really obese, I think that GLP-1s are great for people that are really, really overweight, getting them to a certain point. And I think then they need to be really taken off. But as that process is happening in someone that's really obese, nutrition needs to be taught. It needs to be the first and foremost thing that's taught. Supplementation needs to be added to it, so that they're creating habits, because most people go on GLP-1s and they haven't created any new dietary habits.
No, I think that's the most dangerous part. If you're doing it without knowing how to feed your body, and now you're just starving your body and you're not hungry, so that's not helping either.
Right.
And that to me is really because starving your body of nutrients, going into this extreme deficit, crashing your metabolism, messing with your thyroid, that to me is really scary and sad, because it's like, where you're on a road to where.
Right, where you going?
And I've seen it. I've seen it. I've run into local people who are taking it, and they're all excited that they look thinner or skinnier, and I'm like, no, you just look soggy.
You just look soggy. Yeah, that's it. Soggy.
And it's so sad, and they're so excited, and they buy their workout exercise outfits. I've run into some at the farmers market.
And the booty's hanging a little bit, and you're like, ooh, it's not really.
It's
giving not working.
No, it's not working, because I'm like, you're not going to the gym. You just want the look. You think that it's a magic shot, and muscle is the key to longevity.
Yes.
When you think about it, sometimes people say, "Oh, you weight training." Well, I don't need to be a fitness person. I don't need to be. I'm like, no. Do you want to stand up from the toilet when you're 75, 80? Do you want to walk up the stairs? Like, I'm not trying to tell you to be Mr. Olympia. I'm trying to tell you that right now you can stand up from the toilet, okay, but don't have any muscle in your legs.
Exactly.
I've seen that also firsthand. Where
daily living activities is what you need muscle for.
I mean, you see people, their legs are shaking, they got a cane. It's like, no, they're not all sick. They're actually just atrophied.
Right. When living in Europe for so long, the differences that I see is that they're so protein, meat heavy. They eat lots of meats, especially in Germany. Like there's a sausage going down every second, right? And you'd hug an older woman in her 80s, 90s, and they're so firm.
Oh,
wow. They're really truly.
Oh my God, the women here are frail. The older ladies are frail.
Not in Germany. There is a whole group of women. When I was first starting triathlon training, I decided I want to take my training bike out to the park because I was doing clipless pedals, and I was like, I need to fall in grass before I bust my butt. And so I'm out there practicing, and there was a whole group of ladies. They call themselves the rollerblading grannies.
Oh.
There were like 55 of them out there, large group,
That's
all
awesome.
in rollerblades.
Yeah.
They were all over 70 years old.
Wow.
Rollerblading.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
That
these
takes
ladies
some
are
leg
going
muscles.
to break their hips. I'm like, where's the ambulance?
Right.
Like, meanwhile, they didn't need it for me because I was falling.
Yeah.
I was like,
they're looking at you like she needs a sausage or whatever you get.
Need a sausage and broaching.
Right? Yeah.
It's so true. But I looked and I was like, wow, what are the differences between women and men in Europe versus here? Protein intake.
Yeah.
They eat copious amounts of it. They also eat their croissants and all the other things, but they eat a lot of meat in Europe. Like everything has a meat with it.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's the huge difference that we're lacking here. And so, yes, you don't need to go and be a Miss or Mrs. Olympia, right? But you do need to weight train. You need weight-bearing activities for longevity. And, people are just unfortunately overlooking it. And then taking the GLP-1s is just
working against
all of it. And it's sad, it's scary. And coming from, I feel passionate about it, can speak on being overweight because I was overweight. Right. I lost 145 pounds for those of you who don't know me. And so when I hear people talk about weight loss, I'm like, unless you've had to do it, you don't really quite understand it. Like, you got to lose weight.
Oh my God. Right? And I call it, people on social media are always like, thanks for calling. I call it the old fashioned way.
Yes.
Because now it's like, when you say you lost weight, you're like, how?
Yeah.
And then people will be like, did you have surgery? Did you take a shot? Did you, like, how? I'm like, years ago, it wasn't how. It's like, what do you mean? I lost weight because you
ate well and did the work.
Right. Like, what do you mean how? Right. And now I have to say how.
Right. I want to encourage everyone to don't walk through the grass. You're going to get poop on your shoes if you take the shortcut.
Yeah.
Just do the work.
Just do the work.
You will respect it so much more. I mean, I'm going to be 53 this year, and I am just like, when I look at other women my age, I'm like, what in the world happened over here? Yeah. Like, what have you been doing, ma'am?
No, I know.
What happened? Like, well, I don't want to be in that group.
No.
I do not want to participate in my age group with some of the, I'm like, oof.
Because, unfortunately, a lot of people just miss that whole chapter of how to take care of yourself, nutrition-wise and exercise-wise. And what happens is, and just in a quick, to sum it up, what I think what happens is like, unless you catch the bug like we did.
Right.
If you don't catch the bug and you don't really care, or you luck out and you're kind of naturally skinny for a while and you're like, whatever, you go from being a kid and kind of like cruising along, eating whatever. Right. Then you go to college, you have fun, whatever. Exactly. Then you go into the work world And all of a sudden you're like, I'm busy. I got to get a job.
Right.
I got to whatever. Then you get married. Then you have kids. And it's like, where were you supposed to catch that bug? And where were you supposed to say, I give a crap about fitness and nutrition and all of that? And so there are the percentage of people like us that catch the bug and really give a crap are so far, few and far between.
Unfortunately, again, we didn't have the knowledge back then. It really should have started at home.
Yep.
And that's why I like that fitness is like a big thing now. But here's what I do not see. I see a lot of moms and dads taking care of themselves and then still doing the same garbage to their kids.
Right.
Right. So like I just did an episode, I was talking about like snacks and all the things that they give to their children. And they're like, I've got to give them these snacks. I'm like, no, you don't. You're setting them up for the same failure that I just had, the boat I had to get you out of.
Right.
So now you're eating all the good, clean things and enjoying it and saying, oh, it tastes great. But you're still giving your kids like all of this garbage. Like, why are you doing that to their bodies?
Yep. And it sucks, kids. Because I'm battling it right now with even Bodie. Like I said, I try to give him, I'm like, Bodie, have some lean ground beef. Let me make you I call it a beef bowl. And I'm like, I'll put some beef and some rice and some broccoli, whatever. He wants to eat cereal. He wants to eat, like he'll go to the store and buy Takis, which I want to vomit. Like, I'm like, Bodie, stop. And but I've had them on the podcast before. Right. And I've said, like, how does mommy eat? And they're like, you eat salads and you eat this and you always eat fruits and vegetables. Okay, so I'm like, so you
at
see
least
what
I'm
like,
it.
you see this, right? And then I said, do you think that when you're older, you'll know what to do then when you're ready for this?
Right.
And they're all like, yeah. Like the other night, Bryce came up to me. I'm in bed, and she's so proud that she put brownie batter in a bowl. She sliced up a banana. She put in a handful of blueberries and blackberries. She mixed it all up, and she wanted to show me.
Right.
That was her bedtime thing. So then I was like, oh, go make me one. So then she went downstairs. She made a whole video of it. But I'm like, wow, she could have gone, but I was already in bed. She could have snuck whatever she wanted.
Right.
But she's watching.
She's watching.
And Bijou's watching. And Bodie's watching.
They watch. My grandkids are crazy with the label reading. My oldest, Vanessa, she is like, strong granny, we can't eat this. It's got too much sugar in it.
Right.
And
They
I'm
check
like,
And sometimes 7. They think they know what they're reading. Or then like Bodie will be like, Mom, this is 12 grams of sugar. Is this okay? And and I'm just like, all right, chill. Like, let's,
some balance of things.
It's okay.
Right,
like you're about to go play. He plays an hour and a half soccer game, and then he goes right to basketball game. I'm like, you're fine. But like, do I want you? I'm like, if he's eating a bowl of cereal, I'm like, slice a banana in there, put some raspberries in there. Like, come on, And so I'm trying, but I feel like if I just keep the verbal, like the talking and I'm always, where's your protein? That's not protein. Yeah. Where's your protein?
Right.
And it's,
Yes, you have to,
because it's a battle. Kids will.
It's a battle because we didn't start with it from the beginning. Like when I look at my grandkids now, for them, they're asking, where's the protein on the plate? Like they need more. They'll say, Mama, I need more meat. Right. Right. So because I'm always talking to them about nutrition and all the things, just to kind of see if I could change the trajectory of the way that we did it the old way. Yep. For them now to learn it the right way from the start. Right. And so my kids all eat healthy, but these grandkids are taking it to a whole new level.
Oh my gosh.
Vanessa won't let the other two get up from the table if they didn't eat all their broccoli. She's like, no, you have to eat all of it.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oops, sorry guys. I'll call back tomorrow.
Look, and I've just been one where I'm like, lead by example.
Right.
And so, and then hopefully then this need for this GLP-1 will phase out. I mean, coming full circle, why are people needing it? Well, their nutrition obviously wasn't on point. They weren't taught as kids. So it's like to prevent this from future generations, we've got to start now, even if it's just with your, just with the education if you need to educate yourself, if you're not educated, then your kids can't be educated. Right. And the schools are certainly not helping us at this point. No. And so it's gotta, look, people like Maria and I are getting out there educating, talking, making content, talking about it, doing these podcasts so that hopefully the takeaway from every single one is, where should your priorities lie? Right. And then also you can make the right decision for you.
Yes. And I will offer a little bonus.
Yes.
If you want to use supplementation to help you lose weight, so to speak.
Okay.
Berberine.
Oh, yeah.
is a very, very effective supplement.
Okay.
And I use it a lot with my diabetics that are on just pill form and helping them get off of pill form, metformin and things like that. It's very effective, and it does almost the same thing, and it's extremely healthy.
Okay, there you go.
Structured nutrition needs to go with it. You
can't just not another magic pill.
You can't just go popping berberine and be like, I'm going to lose my 5 pounds this week.
Right.
That's not happening.
Right.
So, but it's very, very effective.
Okay.
With a good nutritional protocol. I've been using it for like the last three and a half years. It's getting popular now, but that's extremely effective. So if you're on GLP-1s, you're everyday
Is there a certain dose of berberine that somebody would take to feel?
I always like to look at people's blood work again because it correlates with your blood sugars, right? But 600 milligrams is a safe dose for most people. Like if you just went to the store and bought it and took 600 milligrams, for most people, it's not going to do anything to. When I'm getting into the weeds of their nutritional protocols, I want to see the data, right? I think that's another thing too people don't realize in getting in shape. The numbers of all of it matter.
Okay.
Right? All of your blood values matter, and all of your calories and macros matter. It really does matter. So all of this intuitive eating thing, you're going to if you're overweight, you'll lose a couple pounds in the beginning because you've by default cleaned up your nutrition, right? So to speak. But if you really want to get into a really good fit state, the numbers matter. Tracking is a real thing.
Oh,
and needing to understand.
I see the biggest changes when I track.
When I
Hands
go,
down.
Right now I'm doing no tracking and I'm like, okay, I'm all right. But when I track, my body changes in a week.
Hell yeah.
So it's always like, I better go back to my tracking.
No, and it's like you said, it's fine for a little bit. And if you're in a stage where you're like, okay, like, but if you're really like, okay, it's time, it's go time.
Right. I need to pull it together. And you really want to
see, because I'm always like, oh, this was magic. Like, no, Dana, it's not magic. It's
magic,
just,
right?
Yeah,
right. Because you honestly don't know. Sometimes I look at a chicken breast and assume I do this all the time. I'm like, it looks like about 6 ounces, and I put it on the thing, and sometimes it's like 4.4, and I'm like,
100%.
Oh, that was not it.
Yeah, right? I do it all the time. I still weigh things, measure things. I use the scoops just because I'm like.
That's what they're there for.
Are my eyes playing tricks on me?
Right.
And then I'm like, you know what? A couple days of kind of eyeballing a little too much can go sour either way. Like
100%. Well, yeah, and especially with things like healthy fats and nut butter. Ooh,
yeah,
I was just gonna say those nut butters, girl.
I always have to weigh the nut butter if I'm gonna mess with them and go there, which like isn't very often because it's just not safe sometimes. No, it's got to come on. It's got to be on a scale, and then all the time I'm like, of course, this isn't it.
Right.
Like I'll scoop it, and I'm like, oh, that looks like a tablespoon.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh god,
yeah,
no,
it is not. Right, it's not.
And it adds
maybe
up quickly.
2. It does. It adds up very, very quickly, and people don't understand and recognize that. So, the numbers do matter.
Yep,
they really, really do matter. And so, if you're really trying to get fit, guys, track your food, track your food, track your supplements, get the blood work done. So
get organized.
Yeah, get organized. It's your health.
Yeah.
We do not take it serious enough,
No.
I feel.
Right.
Like overall. There's people in the fitness space that look phenomenal and have no idea what's going on underneath the hood.
No, exactly.
I know plenty of those people. I'm like, so, what's your cholesterol like? And they're like, I don't know. Like, you don't know what your cholesterol is?
Yeah.
At all?
Yeah.
Like not a look. And they're like, no. I'm like, every 6 months to a year, you should be getting blood work.
Yeah, that's about what I do.
So you can find out what's really happening, especially as you're aging, because it's like a car. Things just break.
Yep.
Right? But if you don't know that it's broken, you just kind of keep going on through life.
Yep.
So making sure that you are proactive and finding out what's going on underneath the hood can really help you structure and drive the way you're going to create your plan, all of it. All of it.
Yeah.
So, but berberine, it's a very good
berberine.
supplement.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's
Instead of the
that's
GLP-1s.
good. A healthier alternative. Like start there.
Yeah.
And start with like she said, the basics and all the small changes. Like if you're right now finding that you're only drinking 16 ounces of water, you're doing whatever. It's like these are places to start. Yes. Not jumping to the extreme of, I should just take a shot. It's like, no, really go back to the basis of like, know all those answers before you even start a GLP-1. So like, if right now you're going to go take a shot, first, okay, how many grams of protein are you eating every day?
Right.
How many total calories are you taking in? Like, where's your start? Because you need to know that if you're going to start this, like,
Right, 100%. But you said a major one. So most people that want to lose weight and say that they struggle with losing weight, I always ask them first, not what they eat. How much do you drink? Mm-hmm. I always ask them that. You will not lose any weight, fat, if you don't drink water.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
If you constantly are dehydrated, you might lose 2 pounds in the beginning and you're going to get stuck.
Yep.
So do you really need a GLP-1 or do you need more hydration for the body to cut on and start all of the body functioning and the processes that are just laying dormant because they're just not hydrated?
You need those healthy habits.
Right.
You need to be checking the box to be on all those healthy habits first. Because so many people say, I've tried everything and it just isn't working. Yeah. I'm like, have you?
Have you though? Have you tried the basics like just drink your water?
And have you consistently done it? Or you're saying, I tried it for 6 days and then I wasn't at my goal weight. Right. And then I went on vacation and then I ate for 3 days.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so then, and then they're like, it wasn't working.
Right.
No, what do you mean it wasn't working? You don't even know if it's worked because you haven't even stuck on it for a consistent amount of time.
Exactly.
And I hear it all the time. I've tried everything.
And the jumping from one nutritional protocol to the next. I'm going to hip you all guys all to something special. You want to know what the best nutritional protocol is?
Which one?
All of them.
Yep.
They all work.
They all work.
They all work.
Now, it doesn't mean they're all good.
That's right. Doesn't mean they're good, but
doesn't mean they're good. They'll all
effective.
work.
They all work.
If you know,
if you follow the steps to them,
yes,
they all work. But the thing is, are they sustainable?
Because I don't like carnivore.
Right. That's that's a whole thing.
Yeah. That's another one.
That's another one.
Yeah.
But it's got to be sustainable. This is why people fail, because it's not sustainable, right? So if it's not something you can sustain lifetime, then that's not going to work for you.
Right.
Is it good to use to get like in a dress for a wedding or something like that? Maybe. Those are short-term things, but they all work. The problem is people just don't do it long enough to figure out if they work. They want to see instant gratification, and that's what GLP-1s give you, instant gratification.
Everyone wants
with
that.
A laundry list of bad things on the back end that no one tells you when you start taking them.
It's like when they say it's too good to be true.
That's right.
It's like so often those shiny things,
right?
They come with like
they come with perfect example. Back in the day when I was losing weight, the first thing I tried was phentermine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, girl. I was the best on phentermine.
Oh, my God.
I could wash your car. I could paint your house. I could be a mom, baseball games, cook, sweep, all in an hour.
Yeah, all in an hour.
I don't know what was in that stuff. It was so bad that when the doctor was like, we have to take you off, I was like, oh, my God. I started asking people if I can buy theirs. I was turning into a drug addict.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, yeah, because it worked, but I knew that if I had to stop, I was going to gain the weight back, and that's exactly what happened. Ugh. I gained the weight back, plus a cousin, of course, because you know how that works.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing here. It was truly instant gratification with the phentermine. Not only did it curb your appetite, rapid weight loss, you felt like you were on freaking top of the world.
Wow.
I mean, you were Chatty Cathy.
Yeah.
You
could do it all.
You could do it all. You felt empowered. I mean.
Wow. But I never got my hands on that one, but.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God. It was so bad.
But yeah, I can see how when you're a busy mom and you want to do all this stuff, finding something that it's like you got like a flare out your butt. And you're just like on the go.
I was Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
100%. And really, I'll be honest, I feel sad because for everyone that's tried that and all the other things and now the GLP-1s, all it leaves you with is depression on the back end.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you're looking in the mirror at yourself and you're like, I failed again.
Yeah.
And right. And this just pours on.
It's the same feelings as those
health.
Yo-yo dieting.
Yeah.
I'm up, I'm down. I'm up, I'm down.
Right.
And it's like it's like the crash dieting, and then you feel great one second that you think that you're killing it, and then you end up in a binge because you're so freaking hungry.
Yes.
And then you're like, I'm a failure. I gained everything back. And I mean, because look, that I can speak of. That was me forever. And so, like, when you finally get through that, and I'm like, oh my God, that was an exhausting pattern. Like, and it's exhausting because you're always cleaning up a mess.
Yep.
Then you're feeling good. Then you're trying to hold on to that as long as you can until the next crash. Yeah. And now
that you know is coming.
That you know, because you can't you can't do it for that long. Right. If you're starving yourself and you're on your next fad diet and your next whatever, it's like you feel like Cinderella. Yes. Where the ball, it's going to strike 12. You're going to end up standing there in your rags. Yep. Your pumpkin's going to be a rat again. And you're like,
we're back.
We're back again. And you're just like, come on.
It's so true.
It's so true. And it's exhausting. And it's like, that's why I want to scream from the rooftops. I made a post about it this morning. It's like, stop. I want these people to get off the crazy train.
Get off the crazy train. I'm telling you, trust us.
Yeah.
This is the best I've felt in decades.
Same.
You know, these last 6 years of my life have been phenomenal, where I wake up and eat what I want. I'm not overly, strict about anything.
There have been a lot of breakthroughs now with people who I know personally, and then just on social media, where now the narrative is this healthy outlook on things, and I'm loving it. because a lot of us around the same time have all been like, oh my gosh, like I'm just living finally, and I'm not, because we had to really break out of all of those unhealthy things from the 80s and 90s that we were marketed
to.
Yeah.
Our magazines preached it to us every day.
Oh, Atkins, all the things. So we thought that was bad. We thought carbs were bad. We thought this was bad.
How long did we think carbs were so bad, to the point where when I first became a dietitian, I still wouldn't eat blueberries. I wouldn't eat any fruit.
Yeah, I believe it.
Because the sugar.
I still get that on my social media. They're like, why do you keep showing eating bananas? And I'm like, because I eat a banana. What do you mean? Like, are you serious? Are we really going to demonize a banana? You think bananas are your problem?
I know.
And they're like, why? Like, we keep getting the comment, why do you keep showing oatmeal in your recipes? And I'm like, because I eat a lot of oatmeal.
I eat a lot of oatmeal, and it's a great base.
It's a great flour to eat. I love it.
You should try it.
What do you mean? Like, there's plenty without, but are you really still there?
Yeah.
But they are. Because they are out there.
Programmed. It was the programming. And I was wired. I was giving my clients perfectly sound nutrition plans and not doing any of that at home.
Because it took your brain a long time to catch up. And I'm hopeful for my kids' generation now, because they're never going to hear that crap.
Yeah, thank God.
And they're going to, from me, they're never going to hear that crap. Like if somebody even says something or suggests they're not going to eat this or they're not going to do that, that shit gets broken in a second. I'm like, what do you mean you're not eating what? You're doing that. Stop it. Or we eat that. Don't. Because I'm shutting it down.
No more of the takeaway things. And I'm glad that I didn't impose any of that on my kids at the time that I went through my weight loss journey.
Yeah.
I did make everyone change nutrition in the house, but I went super strict on me and not crazy on them.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did that, because everyone eats normal and fine and healthy and they're good and they don't think about restrictions. My daughter is totally fine to be like, yep, having a mimosa for lunch. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
for lunch.
Yeah.
But anything else, she's like, I'll probably have some meatballs with it. And I'm like, protein and a drink. All right. But she's had 3 kids and she looks really good. So I'm like, clearly it's working for her. Right?
Yeah. So I look, you can walk away knowing you raised them
right.
With the proper education, and that's what I want to do, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's just the generations before in the 80s and 90s just got programmed so.
It was awful.
So wrong. That
especially
it's up to
women.
Us to.
Yes. But my concern now for this generation is definitely the way social media pushes just all the quick fix things, and in the fitness space, what bothers me the most is that when you do listen to some of the coaches out there, they don't delineate between men and women. And so you have a lot of women doing what men are doing, and it's not working for them. Because your body doesn't work that way.
Oh, Maria. To be continued.
Another can of worms.
Oh my God. This was a great episode.
It was great.
We hit on everything that I wanted to talk about with GLP-1s. I'm so glad we did. There's a lot of takeaway here. Yeah. And thank you for being on again.
Thank you for having me again. I totally love it.
We'll do it again.
Yes.
And thank you guys for listening to another episode of Until It's Done, a Devoted podcast.